Let's get a reaction on this developing story from Texas Congressman Lloyd Doggett. The Democrat is the co-chair of the House Prescription Drug Task Force. Mr. Representative, thanks so much for joining us. We do appreciate it. There's a lot of finger-pointing going on in this. Heather Bresch is essentially saying it's the system, it's the PBMs. The PBMs are saying no, blaming us is a red herring. Where do you place the blame?
Well, fast money is certainly the place to talk about this because Mylan has gotten some fast money at the expense of many of my constituents, consumers across America that face a life and death decision. I think the problem is principally with the pharmaceutical manufacturers. It's not really a Mylan problem. It's price gouging that's spread across the pharmaceutical industry, and we really do need to get at this problem of government-approved monopolies charging monopoly price gouging prices.
You think that there's not a deeper issue here? I'm asking you this because it's not just this drug, and it seems that EpiPen controversy, and in between there are lulls. There's not a real effort, it seems, to get at a root of the problem. So are you just saying that it's bad actors in the pharmaceuticals industry that are price gouging on this, or is there something systemic involved?
I'm saying there's some serious bad actors, industry practices with government-approved monopolies where competition is not working to bring about reasonable prices. This is a problem that has been going on for years. You're right. Congress only takes note when some crisis like this develops. We need to overcome the tremendous number of campaign contributions and lobbying expenditures of Big Pharma. We need to look at all aspects of the system, including the PBMs. But I think the problem is centered on pharmaceutical manufacturers that don't have effective competition. It's not limited to Mylan. It is spread all across the industry. We just saw within the last week Pfizer and its acquisition of a company now pending largely over a drug that cost over $100,000 a year to treat prostate cancer. Competition is not working there. The administration has not done enough, and Congress has sat on its hands as Big Pharma has kept this issue entirely off the agenda.
Sure. So as you point out, it's not just Mylan that's doing this. There are many. How far do you go, Congressman? Do you go down the list of products at various pharmaceutical companies and say, this price was increased by X% over this time frame, and therefore that warrants an investigation? Mylan's not alone. So to be fair, do you do that? I mean, how far are you guys going to go?
Well, our Prescription Drug Task Force is trying to get this issue back on the agenda. And just as there's not one company that's a problem, but many, there are many answers that need to be provided. I think we need, and I agreed with the Mylan executive whose interview I saw on your program earlier today, I think we need more transparency. We need to have a good indication of whether these prices are related at all to research and development. Frankly, I find the argument that we're going to stifle innovation if we do something about prices to have little merit because companies like Mylan and Pfizer are devoting far more to advertising and promotion than they are to research and development. I think some of our larger pharmaceutical companies are really lagging in helping us get innovation and cures and to diseases and responses that we need right now in our healthcare system, but they're charging outrageous prices. Another good point the Mylan executive made that I fully agree with is that we're subsidizing the rest of the world. I think that's really wrong. I disagree with her that there's any merit in American consumers and taxpayers and premium payers having to finance the research for all of the rest of the world and pay the world's highest prices for prescription drugs. This EpiPen problem is a real one. I've talked personally with folks here in our area who are facing a crisis of whether they use an expired EpiPen, whether they can afford to buy a second one for the grandparents and the like. We've got to get a hold of that problem, and I think the Justice Department really needs to be looking at EpiPen and Mylan and their agreements they negotiate with some of these schools to keep out the competition. There is a competitive product out there that people should be asking their physicians about.
Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Congressman Doggett joining us from Texas, calling essentially for a DOJ investigation now of Mylan.